opportunity is to dismantle the black family. So aside from her record as a prosecutor, why don't we ask Mrs. Willie Brown if Kamala Harris cares about black families?
The media has their hands full trying to prop up Kamala Harris. After all, their job is a very difficult one. They have to convince you, the public, that Kamala Harris went from being one of the most disliked, incompetent vice presidents ever to being the savior of the Democrat Party, the only person that can defeat Donald Trump. However, this weekend, of course, the big news buzz is that Kamala Harris's polling is very good. As we can see over here from a new CBS YouGov poll, she is beating Donald Trump nationally and is tied in the battleground states. So everyone is all happy and excited and elated about these numbers until, of course, you realize that they're trying to use this poll to basically manipulate public opinion and not reflect it. Because when you actually dive into what these numbers actually mean, you can see over here the CBS YouGov survey of 3,102 registered voters in the U.S., including an oversample of 730 black respondents. Now, of course, Donald Trump is doing better than ever with black voters, upwards of 20%. Could that change? Absolutely. However, when you look at this, black voters make up about 12% of the American population. But according to this survey, they're about 30%. So this is a huge overcalculation, not to mention, of course, you have a 2.1% margin of error and a 4.7 margin of error with the black respondents. So this poll, as flawed as it is what has the media all simply saying, look, momentum has completely shifted. Kamala Harris is in control. However, when you look at the line of questioning from the leftist organizations this weekend, it doesn't quite add up. Check these clips out. But before we do, please like and comment so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
The vice president praised the defund the police movement, and now she says she doesn't support defunding the police. She called for decriminalizing crossing the border illegally. Now she supports President Biden's policies for clamping down at the border. She supported Medicare for all at one point, eliminating private insurance, and her campaign says she doesn't support that now. She's reversed herself on a fracking ban. What do you think that voters should think when she's reversed herself on several issues just in the last 4 years?
I think that voters should think that she's a human being who learns new things every single day and has the ability to take the time and effort to hear the concerns of all people. I think that they should be certain that she is a fighter and a leader who's going to do the work on their behalf to ensure that there is an economy that ensures that no one is left behind, that there is a climate, that we're going to continue to address the climate crisis in a way that ensures that there is an earth here for young people and for next generations of leaders. I think that they should absolutely believe that she is a leader who cares about people and who's going to put them first, as she has done her entire career.
So no concern about flip-flopping?
No concern about flip-flopping. This is our country changes every single day. The conditions of our country changes every single day. The vice president has been consistent in her values, and there are lots of different ways to solve the challenges that are in front of us.
Yeah, she's not flip-flopping. She just has the exact opposite opinions of everything she believed previously. Of course, here's the thing. Kamala Harris herself has not come out against any of the things that she used to stand for, okay? It's her campaign office saying, oh yeah, she's totally switched up, right? But of course, it's hard to do that when you don't give any public interviews, you don't do any off-the-cuff comments because you know you'll be exposed as a complete moron. So of course, that's the problem they're running into. All of her rhetoric is going to come back to haunt her because she has been one of the most left-leaning people ever to hold public office, especially at this high of a level. So good luck getting away from that one. Now, of course, there are some in the leftist media out there that know that all of these numbers are a bunch of garbage, and Kamala Harris really isn't doing that well. Let's check this out from Obama's former campaign manager, David Axelrod.
Well, and she has this background as a prosecutor, and she's really trying to create this contrast between someone who is a convicted felon standing on the stage with her and her prosecuting felons.
Well, the other thing is the two of them on a debate stage, the whole scenario shifts. You've got a guy who's 78 years old, who frankly isn't all that coherent all the time himself, who suddenly looks like the past and not the future. And so this is not the scenario the Trump campaign wanted. They thought they had this race under control. It is much more of a contest now.
Yeah, and look, she has a lot of momentum, but if you do look at the polling, this is still a really tight race. This is going to be a hard fight for either side, a tough, based on the numbers we're seeing right now.
100%. Look, I mean, anyone, there's a lot of irrational exuberance on the side of, on the Democratic side of the aisle right now, because there was despair for some period of time about what the November was going to look like. Now people feel like there's a chance, but it is absolutely Trump's race to lose right now. He is ahead, and he is ahead in most of the battleground states. They're close. They could be won by either candidate, but there is a lot to be determined in the next 90 whatever days, 96 or whatever it is left. Yeah, I think it's a wide open race, but Trump has the advantage right now, and everybody should be sober about that on the Democratic side.
So you're telling me that David Axelrod, of all people, in the face of all of these brand new polls that show Kamala Harris just completely destroying Donald Trump, he still thinks that Trump is in the lead? He still thinks it's Trump's race to lose? All right. And he does say something rather interesting. The Democrats were down in the dumps. They knew it was over with Biden. Okay, that's why they had to replace him. They had to do the soft coup to get him out of office and replace him with Kamala Harris. Okay, so there is, of course, this natural bounce, this natural exuberance that, oh, we have a new candidate. She's the young, fresh face. Oh, look how great she is. But of course, the truth will come out the more she appears in the public eye, and of course, the more we expose about her. Now, of course, he's not the only leftist pollster out there to see this going Donald Trump's way. Check this out from Frank Luntz.
Accountability, yes. Attacks, no.
So what's the word choice for Trump against Harris?
Can you name one thing she did as vice president? And leave it at that. Can you name one thing she accomplished as vice president? 10 words. He's incapable. And all these people are going to watch this. All these Trump voters are going to say, you're so mean, and you're so partisan, and you don't like him, so you're criticizing him. Just once can he answer a question in 10 words, or answer with yes or no. Just once can he answer anything without delivering an attack. This room and what this represents deserves a lot better than that. And it's a legitimate criticism. She was number 2 in this country. She was given the responsibility for immigration. Now I'm going to upset the other side.
Yeah.
How's her immigration working out?
Well, her folks would say she was put in charge of investigating the root causes of immigration.
And what did she do there? And what did she do there?
How many vice presidents?
How successful has she been? What else did Joe Biden task her to do? In our lifetime, we've seen Dick Cheney, who is arguably as powerful as the president.
Yeah.
A vice president, and Joe Biden, when he was vice president, had specific responsibilities under the Obama administration. She did nothing.
That's about it. Can you think of one thing she's actually accomplished? She's gone around giving her cackling speeches trying to inspire the leftist most base of the Democrat Party, but she hasn't done anything. Now, of course, as we saw in that same segment, he thinks that Donald Trump is just too mean. Can he please just answer a question? People like the attack dog, Donald Trump, all right? That's what people glom onto with him. I pointed this out so many times on my channel. I know it turns off a lot of voters, but guess what? Some mean tweets right now would be a lot better than World War III and the U.S. economy collapsing, all right? Because that's basically what we're facing at this point. But Donald Trump, of course, is not out of the woods completely. This is a pretty unprecedented moment we're in. Normally, by this point in time, we've known who the candidate's going to be for a couple of months already, and the attacks can go ahead and get moving, get momentum. However, now we've only got 3 months to get all of this stuff lined up, all the ducks in the row, and really go after Kamala Harris in an effective way. Check this out.
She is frightening in terms of what she believes. Will Trump and Vance be able to Mike Dukakis her?
That's going to be the central issue of the campaign, because on the one hand, they don't have 1 or 2 years. They only have 90 days. And she's not going to be allowed, as was Biden not allowed in 2020, to do anything other than teleprompted set speeches in front of receptive audiences. So they have and they don't have time to go down all of these cul-de-sacs about, ethnic background or cackling and all that. They got to get right to the point, and that is draw her out on all these things they said. The good news is she's never in her life, Gagan, spoke to an oppositional audience. She ran for state office in California. She ran for office in the Bay Area. She had aborted brief primary candidacy in front of left-wing audiences. In all of those cases, her aim was to be the furthest left on the stage in a left-wing environment. So it's not that she said all these things, she emphatically said them. She doubled down on them. She stressed that she was a radical. And they're all over the last 20 years in the record, and it's going to be incumbent upon the Trump campaign to find them all, to document them, to air them, and to force the journalists to ask her about them. And the one time that she has had one unscripted moment, and that was just on the tarmac with Biden the other night. And in 60 seconds, she did exactly what her handlers are afraid of. She just melted down in that word salad and, wash, rinse, spin. And so that's what Trump needs to do. And anything he can do that and he will be conducive. He needs to look at the 1988 campaign when Dukakis was 17 points ahead on August 1st.
All of that, absolutely true. For her entire career, Kamala Harris has pandered to the far left base of her party, and she's never faced an oppositional opponent, someone who's actually on the right. And guess what? This is the perfect environment for Trump to go against Kamala Harris, because now that wokeness has essentially imploded, is recognized as something that is bad. DEI is on the fritz. The LGBTQ plus movement, right? This was the shortest Pride Month ever this year. All right, so this is the perfect opportunity to come out and say, hey, all that stuff that America basically is against, that we don't find that popular, she's for, all right? And she has been for. And to actually see her walk that back now might actually disenfranchise a lot of her leftist voters that just simply have loved her rhetoric in the past. So as usual, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.